Welcome to my channel. This time with audio, because I remembered to plug in my microphone. This is going to be the start of a vlogging series about the hobby projects I'm just going to work on. Right now I'm intending to do a virtual tabletop RPG. And just for fun, just to learn a lot of things. There's a lot of things we can do with a virtual tabletop RPG. We can embed AIs, we can embed information management systems, potentially using things like also LLMs for classifications or other neural networks or other machine learning. There's networking involved, so online stuff. There's real-time interactions, dice rolling system, potential fancy animations, 3D stuff. There's a lot of potential things we can do, and never mind. Let's not forget a complex rule system that should be also dynamic and extendable. Anyway, it sounds like a lot of fun. I haven't started with the virtual tabletop RPG itself yet. I've been working on the general framework around it. That I've written from scratch over the last week or so. I've finally found a bit more time. Work has finally stopped burning me out as much, so I feel energetic and like actually working on it. There's a monorepo for it, and what I have so far is that I have a very crude basic framework that allows me to render both natively and in the web, and there's just some crude animation running to test text rendering, which is also done from scratch. We won't go into this in this video. I'm just doing this intro, more or less. It's going to be a short one. It also works in the web. That is one of the design decisions. And you can notice that the coloration is a bit different. That's because sRGB is a thing, and one of them is not honoring it. sRGB just means that color space is non-linear, which means that everything's darker because humans can see more darker colors than lighter colors. I need to still fix that at some point in time. The framework itself is structured in a way to decouple it from a lot of things, and so that I can potentially reuse it for a lot of other projects, which is why it's splintered across so many crates. I may split the vGPU window more. So we're using vGPU or WebGPU as a rendering backend, and I have my own scene UI thing. That's my UI framework over here that did the animation we saw before. And this is going to be used by applications like the virtual tabletop RPG. It's just going to spin it up. I have different launchers which will grab a platform agnostic logic, which will spin up the graphics backend and start rendering. I have no audio engine yet. I will think about that some other time. Audio's a pain, and if you involve web, it's even worse. I'm going to provide platform hooks, which are going to be supplied to the logic from the native launcher so that we can interact things. There's file loading in here right now because you don't have a file system in the browser. Well, I mean, there is one, but you can't just load files from the file system. You need to load them through URLs on the web platform. And obviously on the native platform, you can just load files. Same thing for storing files or saving things or sending information to something would need a custom hook here. And audio is going to go here. Right, so my plan is to make regular vlogs about it. On the random things I'm gonna work on. I'm still gonna work a lot on the general framework, but I'm close to where I can just start working on the RPG itself and then add it and extend the framework as I use it and how I use it. I still need an entity component system to actually manage entities within the world, and there's possibly a lot of refactoring I want to do. You can check it out and play with it, but be warned that it's going to be under massive construction and rapidly changing. So don't take anything in here for granted. Another goal was to let the LLMs or agents work a bit more. I don't really like them a lot. Not because of what they represent, but because of how people use them. They're not very good at what people claim they're good at, which this project demonstrated to me all over again. Let me show you something. I can place, I should really stop the animation, but I can place the carrot with the mouse, which is fine, but it was basically impossible to get up and down to work correctly with the LLM without animations and click detection to place it at the end of a line. It took me, once I gave up on the LLM, like half an hour to actually implement it correctly. It's not that complicated. The hit test it's just not even 40 lines of code. All we're gonna do is we get an X and Y, and it already had the X and Y, and we're just gonna spit out where in the buffer we clicked with a few extra rules. So we're gonna find the visual line first that we're on. Potentially none if we clicked out, not if we didn't click on any line. And then if we have a line, we are simply going to go through the line and figure out on which on which glyph we clicked. We're doing here a bit more fancy things. I'm moving the click detection to the center of the glyph and then searching for the closest gap, which allows us to snap to the left or right of a character based on where we are. Because if, for example, if you look also here, if I click on the right side of the E, it snaps to the gap between the E and R, and if I click on the left side of the E, it snaps between the T and E. And this behaves exactly the same way. That was basically impossible to convince the LLM to write correctly. I'm doing another LLM rant. And in this case, I tried using Junie, which is actually not just an LLM, this is a fully featured coding agent, which is performance-wise supposed to be really good. It does other things quite well, structural refactoring, but I already said that a long time ago, that is the task where they're good at. But as soon as you have any logic, it's just not very good. The main difference that it couldn't figure out is that the last character, actually, the entire algorithm it wrote here was like 200 lines long and completely nonsense. On multiple different versions. Anyway, I'm gonna stop my rant here. And I will see you some other time.